Greetings. Today we'll be continue the explanation on the risk management aspect of this whole PDPA compliance consulting. Okay, in these sections, I'll be going through primarily on the risk management, but I'll be showing you this data flow diagram to you and how it is linked to the risk management process. Risk management process is phase 2 of the PDPA compliance consultancy. Phase 1 will focus more on the information gathering, the developments of the data flow diagram, and the improvement to the data flow diagram. So after the company staff has crafted out the data flow diagram, the consultants normally will go through to streamline the whole data flow to ensure that the data is flowing in a proper manner and there's not many mess around, which can cause complication. Okay, this is an improved streamlined data flow diagram after going through the whole process. So you have actually a centralized cloud storage system, which is end-to-end encrypted. Okay, as you can see in this diagram, I have used colors to differentiate the various departments. First, I'll show you why I've used the colors. So this is a completed one with the rows, collection, storage, use, disclosure, transfer. Okay, let us go right into the risk management aspect of this tutorial. Okay, in the risk management aspect, you can see that there's a risk management form. There's various sheets over here. This is a risk analysis summary, risk response summary, risk mitigation costs, contingency risk budget, and the risk analysis metrics. Okay, if you look at this risk analysis summary, you will see the risk ID, the brief descriptions, the probability, impact, risk impact, risk score, risk events, and so forth. Okay, I will not be covering much of the risk management form where the organization information will be contained inside. I'll jump right into the risk analysis summary. So what is the risk analysis metrics that I'll be using? So for me, I will be using this very simple metrics. Okay, you can use whatever metrics you want. It's up to you. So there are the 3x3 metrics. Some are using the 5x5 and so forth, of 3x5. Okay, so it's up to you to use whichever metrics you want. Okay, over here you can see that I've put in a different color. The green color from marketing as okay, which is sales, finance, HR, and legal. So you have a legend here showing the various departments, and then you have the collection, storage, use, disclosure, transfer, and you have the offline format and the online format, or the method used. So how do I actually label the risk ID? I start off with the department and then the CSUDT, the methods, and the numbering. So for example, if you are looking at any of this number here, and let's say we take an example of a HR. Okay, so this is, we know there's a HR, this is a collection, this is an offline forms one. So it might be HR collecting the candidates during interview, using a physical forms. So this will be a HR1. This can be an online form that the advertisement puts up, and then they might be using a Google form, a form generated on the company website. So it'll be collection L01. Okay, the numberings behind will denote the respective collection points. So you might have 5 collection points. Then you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So this will present to you a kind of overview of the risk analysis summary. You can input the relevant probability and the impact, and then after that, the various department will have to just go through and verify whether they agree to the scoring here, and the spreadsheets will actually do the simple calculation. Then after that, you can input the risk impact over this portion and just do some remarks. Okay. Okay, next we'll be going to the risk response or summary. So what kind of risk response that we're going to take? So actually, if you look at here, I've put here using acceptance, remittation, transfer, or avoidance. And a mitigation action you can take on will be technical controls, administrative control, physical controls. So over here, you can see this thing called risk priority. The risk priority is based on the risk analysis metrics. In this diagram, I've indicated the 3, 4, and 6 to be areas that we'll be focusing more in this documentation. So you can see that when we start to do our risk management process, we will focus more of coming up mitigations for this. Then we go into the orange part. So I believe it's quite clear, quite straightforward. Okay, the response trigger is quite similar to the risk event. So I'll not be covering over here. Just skip over to the mitigation cost calculations or estimations. So likewise, you have the risk ID and so forth. And these various fields are the estimate costings that you will need. So for example, after doing the risk management, you decided to buy a better lock for the cabinet, or you might even need to buy a new cabinet to lock up the files containing all the personal data. Then you will have a cost. Maybe it will be in charge by the HR or even by the marketing or sales. Okay, so it'll be under this portion. So for example, let's say it's a wheel writing company. They have a lot of physical forms of all the wheels that they store for their clients. They need a very strong metallic cabinet that is fire resistant, fireproof, and to have a proper locking systems. So that will involve under the material and supplies. So if they need to get a rental of certain secured area, it will be the facilities. Sometimes you need to conduct training to train your staff on the compliance. So all this will be under the training costs. So it's important to factor in some training costs so that your staff will be able to be trained on some of the changes introduced through the process after the streamlining. So there will be some costs involved. Lastly, will be the contingency risk budget. So what exactly is the contingency risk budget? So the contingency risk budget is to cover a situation where, let's say, the breach occurs and there's a fine, a potential fine that will be issued by the authority. So you have to do a basic estimation of the cost. Currently, it's about 10% of the maximum fine for normal breach, and up to $1 million for a major breach. So you have to do some estimation, and the cost will involve even, let's say, you need to engage an external consultant to walk through with your DPO to go through the whole investigations and the improvement to the whole compliance plan that you have. So all this will be what we call the contingency cost. Normally, if you have engaged a good consultant to go through the whole process, you will not be facing much issue with the breach because all the various mitigation has been taken into considerations. So as you can see that the whole process of a PDPA compliance consultancy is not that simple. It is not about using some cookie cutters policies and just copy and paste, and that's all. So it involves a very customized approach where you look into the organization structures, you look into the organization's data flows, okay, and looking at all the various potential risk area, and conducting risk management by generating risk IDs and so forth. And all this takes quite a considerable amount of time to go about, and it's is very much a customized plan design for the company. So I think that's about all for today, where we have covered the risk management of phase two of this compliance presentation. Okay, under phase two, there's another aspect will be on the controls recommendation, which we have already covered here. I did not go into details because it depends a lot on the kind of software that you recommend, the consultant recommends, and the tools and so forth. Okay, so I'll just skip this. So you need a person who is very experienced not only in risk management, in PDPA, and also in the mitigations controls that needs to be considered. Okay, that's about all. Okay, bye.